What up? It's 360. You're watching Take Flight.
Hey, yo, what's good? It's your boy Wings on 24 Karat Kev.
Hello.
And you're tapped into the Take Flight podcast. Today we got an artist who's been in the game for well over a decade, has been killing it for a whole bunch of years, but now he's back and I feel like he's more consistent than ever. It's your boy 360 in the building. Let's go. What's happening,
360
brother?
in the building.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much
that.
for coming through, bro.
Appreciate that, man.
Oh, it's nothing but facts.
Yeah,
All right? No one can
yeah.
deny it. Come on, no one can
Hell
deny
yeah, I
it.
love that.
Yeah, like Wing said, you've been in the game for a long time. So we're going to go back a little bit and then talk about everything you got going on now. But I guess the first broad question is, we heard online that, you know, when you were younger, you listened to a lot of stuff like classic New York hip hop, like Big L and stuff. So how did you go from being a hip hop fan into a rapper? What was that transition like for you?
Oh, so it was like all my boys were into skating and shit, and I was sort of obsessed with that. And that was sort of everyone that I looked up to was into Wu-Tang and shit like that. And they were all. Do you guys remember Battletown?
Personally, no.
No. They were like old school dudes back in the day, but they were using American accents and shit.
Okay, so they're from here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yep. So I got sort of linked up with a few people from there, and then just started trying to do it myself, and it was it's quite adorable. It was pretty bad, like really cringe shit. I think I've still got some of them. I went by the name Casper.
Is that because you're white?
Yeah.
No, it's strictly because great rapper name for a white man.
that's
Great
right.
rapper name for a white man.
It's spelled Kaspah.
Yes.
Gangster, bro.
Yeah.
The AH makes it all together, bro.
And I was rapping about robbing people with guns and shit.
Oh,
Hectic.
bro. Yeah.
And that's not me at all.
So on that tip, what age was this, sorry?
That would have been about 14, 15.
14. Yeah, so we heard like maybe a year or two after that. I mean, I read some crazy stuff in your interviews, like going to rap competitions hosted by Bias B. Your dad dropping you off at Trem's house or studio to record with LC. Also, getting on a track with Hunter. So being so young and being around, I guess people that you looked up to and real kind of formative MCs of the game, did that force you to kind of cut your teeth really quickly, really young?
What do you mean by cut your teeth? Sorry?
Like you just had to kind of bring your A game, like...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like it was really wild to think back to that, like being 16 and being around all that kind of shit, like at such a young age. It was bloody wild, and getting signed to Uncut. I forgot about the Hunter thing as well. Like that was absolutely legendary. Rest in peace to Hunter. But that, it still blows my mind thinking about that shit. Can't believe it. But yeah, always had to be on the A game with them, man. They were all about quality over quantity. Yeah.
Also, early on, bro, you obviously mentioned about rapping about robbing people, some gangster ass shit, right? You also talked earlier about Pez coming along, telling you to stay true to yourself, drop that tough guy act. Was that a hard thing to admit that you were doing and change up?
Yeah, for sure. I think like for a long time when I was younger, I was like always trying to put on his front, always trying to look gangster and look hard and shit when it just wasn't my background, Like I come from really loving family, middle class and shit like that. No street shit going on whatsoever, so I don't even know why I was trying to do that. I think it's just because I was just looking up to everyone at the time, like everyone that I really idolized was pretty hard and shit. So I was like, I've got to fit in. But realizing that you just got to be yourself is so much better and more freeing, I just think it was probably a bit of a shock to everyone involved that saw the other side of me that I was trying to force and then going into that. But it was, it was worth it. It was solid work by Pez to keep it real like that.
It's bro.
Was there like one conversation from Pez, like specifically you remember that kind of like switched the light bulb in your head and was like, I'm just going to be me? And
I think it was just his vibe and his like whole energy was just, we just got to be ourselves. From the get-go, that was what he was giving off. But the stuff that I remember from Pez was really just being like I never thought rap could be a career thing where we'd make money off it and get big and shit like that. I thought it was just like a side hobby thing. And he was always like, dude, we got to be the biggest in the country, like shoot for the stars, go for the gusto shit. Like he wanted to be Australia's Jay-Z and shit like that, you know what I mean? Start labels, start signing people, do like everything. And yeah, he was a big believer early on.
Yeah, a couple of things about Pez, bro. So early on, you also mentioned that he was the first person to take you into EMI, I think it was, one of the labels. What was it like at that moment? Had you ever had chats to major labels before, or was this your first ever experience with that?
That was my first experience. Yeah, so I went in with him. This was just after the festival song. So they were G'd up about signing Pez and shit, and he was like, well, you got to listen to 360. I'd done like 3 songs with Styles Fuego at the time.
Yeah.
This is when we were just working on Falling and Flying, and it was starting to get like, oh, this shit sounded like it's going to be something special. And he was just like, yeah, played it to him. They were just like on board straight away, which was really cool. Awesome. But that was the first thing with a major, yeah.
All right.
So what was it like going into the office that day? Was it kind of like a bunch of suits and you're just a young kid and you just roll in and just start playing 360 loud on the speakers or something? Or
yeah. It was in like a meeting with Craig Hawker, which was the main dude at EMI at the time, and in his office, and they just played it and were like looking at each other and shit, and it was real. I was just sitting there shaking, sweating, nervous as fuck, and then they were just like, yep. This is on for sure, and
Instantly.
fucking wild.
Yeah,
so there wasn't even like a negotiation or anything. It was just like on the spot. It was like, we got to get him. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome, bro. Hey, while we're still on the topic of Pez, and you mentioned festival song, bro, what was it like around that time that festival song dropped? Because that was huge, bro. Absolutely everywhere. You know, even coming from someone who wasn't fully tapped into the rap scene, I heard everyone talking about this song. So what was it like seeing the impact that had when it dropped?
That was just like super encouraging. Like that was just like, okay, we can do it. It was like a confirmation that this is possible. Like we can actually like go hard with this shit. Cause that went fucking nuts. Like that was crazy, brother. That was wild. And just seeing the way he got treated after that, like was insane. Like we couldn't go anywhere without people just swarming him. It was fucking nuts. Like it was full on. Really cool, but like fucking, yeah. So unexpected and so cool, but just after that, it just like lit a fire in me to just go, fuck, let's do this. Like, let's keep this going.
Facts.
How many festivals did you guys play at?
Oh, man. oh, bro, back then, like it was when they still had like 50 fucking festivals a year, you know?
And you're on every single one.
Yeah. Like, and they pay quite well too.
Man,
you know?
festival slots are the place to be.
Bruh, but back then, like if you think about like, you made money off album sales, you made money off shows because like you're doing fucking 50 festivals and shit. And it just became so saturated they had to kind of shorten it down a bit. Now there's only like 3.
Main ones, 100%.
Yeah.
It's very minimal.
Yeah.
Facts, bro.
Yeah, shit's changed.
I can just imagine it, but you know, the fucking piano keys are singing along hook and shit, like sundown, cunts are waving their hands. It's like
What a moment in time, bro.
Yeah. I remember shooting a video for that, which was when Pez had the like real long hair and shit, and his hair was just flowing in the wind. It was fucking hilarious.
Shout out to Pez, man.
Yeah.
Also, on a more personal tip, we heard another pod that you know, during COVID as well, you went through a bit of a hard time, and Pez was the one guy that you could call, and he was there for you. And I think in the music industry and in hip hop, we always hear about, you know, long-term friendships and people turn on each other, whether it's over money or rumors or gossip. How's it feel to have someone like Pez alongside you, like all these years, not only in a professional sense, like taking the labels, but also, you know, as a true friend, you know?
It's, you know what, it's like, one thing I've realized over the last few years is how important friends actually are, especially day ones, like the people before shit popped off. Like I've got a very small social circle. It's like me, Pez, my friend Mo, his cousin Mega, and do you know GMC?
Yeah. From Melbourne?
Yeah. They're like my day ones, and they've all been the same as Pez too. Like just like anything, whenever they're just there. You know what I mean? And no matter what it's been through, all the crazy shit that I've been through, they're just always there. So it's like you got to like take care of your day ones and like, yeah, just appreciate that shit.
Amen to that, bro. Because especially from someone who got to your level and has been cruising at that level for so long, that many people will try and jump on and off. But the fact that you still got those day ones around is impressive, bro.
And you do learn the hard way. Like you let a lot of people in that like, because there's a lot of partying and you're all getting on drugs and shit like that. So it's like you let a lot of people in. You're just like, yeah, come and join, and and then you learn the hard way.
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, it's all about the day ones.
Facts, bro.
Yeah, sometimes with those kind of friends you're talking about, you hear it so much in the music industry when it's like eventually after you stop partying with them, it's like the only thing we really had in common was drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we actually don't have anything in common.
Yeah, it's
Like,
kind of sad, eh?
100%.
You
Bro.
have this,
I had a
like,
lot of those
fake-
friends, to be honest.
I've come across a lot of them too. Some that it's a bit sad where you think you develop connections with them, and then later it's just like, wow, that was really nothing at all.
And at the time, you really don't know. Like
No.
you're really just having
No.
that good of a time with them. You're connecting. You're out every weekend. You're partying.
Yeah.
This, that. But you fully don't realize. Like even now, I don't think about it until afterwards. I look back. I'm like, shit, man. There was a lot of people I hung around with weekend after weekend after weekend. Now there's just nothing. They're just
It's like this artificial connection you feel with them
Facts.
as well. Like you genuinely feel like, oh, I really would like to know this person when you're like half a bag in.
Yeah, bro. 100%.
Making promises and shit about, oh, we'll do this together and do this, and then fucking it all ends and they're just gone.
Bro, 100%, man.
So on the festival song, you also had another song with Pez, Just Got Started. You also had, big pop hits like Boys Like You. You've spoken about kind of your albums being a mixture of kind of like wider appeal pop songs and also more traditional rap stuff. So coming from your background, being with LC or listening to Wu-Tang and stuff like that, how did you kind of move into the pop realm while still doing that in a way that felt authentic to you? So
it was like, at the time, I was very much obsessed with just songwriting. So like the direction I was going in was just it sort of naturally just ended up there, especially working with Styles Fuego. He can just do any genre in music really, and he was just sort of the way we worked together, it just naturally ended up there. But there were so many internal battles at the time. Like I was like, oh, everyone in the scene is gonna hate me for doing this shit, because it's like at the time there was no one really breaking out and doing that kind of stuff, and it was a very much. The scene was like had this big kind of gatekeeper vibe to it, where if people stepped out of the Aussie hip hop fucking limitations that you're given, you're called a sellout and all this shit. I knew that was going to happen, but I wanted to make that kind of music. So to me, it wasn't selling out. I'd be selling out if I didn't do that shit. If I didn't stick to what I really wanted to be making. It was a very difficult thing though, because I just knew it was going to be fucking hated by most people at the time. But I think now, after a few years and after like 10 years, like people have come around and can see it for what it is.
So when you did your first kind of big pop single, was the backlash better or worse than you anticipated?
It was weird. It was like it got a lot of support at the start. I remember. As far as everything popping off, and then it like reached this point after like about a year where everything just started turning. Like the vibe was all supportive and nice, and then it just got kind of negative and shit. Like I remember I used to cop so much fucking hate in every post I used to do. It was like these days I get none. It's like hardly anything. It's just all support and shit. But back then it was like probably about 80% was just people going, you're fucking just saying the most fuck shit. Like,
I can only imagine.
There was some wild shit people said. Just you just can't. I can't even repeat it. But
yeah.
It's a classic formula that's been done by so many rappers though in the States though, so it shouldn't really be a surprising thing, because if you look at Biggie Smalls, for example, he had Juicy, which is like kind of like a big kind of the crossover pop hit, but like the whole of Ready to Die is a fucking gangster rap album. You know what I mean? Even like Fat Joe, he has like R&B crossover hits, but then like he was in DITC and Terror Squad, and like he was fucking giving Biggie his first show. So it's like, I don't know why people are so like,
yeah, that's so true, eh? Like I don't know why Australia has that. Like if you talk to Australian hip hop fans and shit, and who'll be like big fans of Eminem and shit, he's done crossover shit that's super poppy, like with Bruno Mars and shit like that. But I don't think they care about that shit. It's like when an Aussie does it, it seems to be different.
When someone at home does something different, it's judged a whole lot more different than someone at 100%.
Yeah, why is that?
Tall Poppy?
You reckon?
Yeah.
That's a good question, really. 100%, bro. Look, we'll switch things up a bit, bro. Look, obviously you just put out a podcast a couple of weeks ago with someone, had some of the deepest shit I ever heard. I'm so glad I sat down and listened to the whole thing, to be honest. It's no secret that you went through a life overhaul over, I don't know how many years it's been, right? Intense addiction at some points. Mm-hmm. Was there a point where you realized it was just going from wild nights out into a full-blown addiction? Like, could you actually pinpoint when that was happening?
There was a few times where, like, because like when you're partying and shit, you don't realize that you're fucking with addiction. Mm-hmm. Like you don't realize that shit until you try to stop and the withdrawals start kicking in and shit. And that's when I remember the first time I got withdrawals was when I tried to stop drinking back on like ages ago, like on this tour. It was the middle of the tour and I was like, I just got real sick and fluey and just fucked up. And that was the first time I realized, fuck, I'm actually doing something that's pretty dangerous here. I didn't realize how dangerous it was at the time. You never really do.
Yeah. Until
you're in the thick of it. And then once you cross over into the addiction and it's like you've awakened this fucking monster inside you that lives forever and you've got to spend the rest of your life taming that cunt. You know what I mean?
Facts.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
100%. Before we go into a little bit about how you've overcome all this, can you explain, would you mind explaining a little bit of how bad it actually got for yourself?
It got really, really bad, man. Like I was like, it started just by me, I was like always partying and on the bags and shit and just, I love going on benders. But it was the come downs that I just couldn't do. Like I couldn't deal with the fucking anxiety and just the feeling of it. Like I just hated it. So I started back then, like I started taking codeine and shit like that, just small amounts of it and that would fix it. And then over time that grew into like taking fucking crazy amounts of oxys and shit like that. Like my issues was painkillers. Like I had a doctor who was like hooking me up with whatever I wanted. So I was like going in there and getting these 80 milligram box a week kind of thing and just going hard on that shit and then going in the next week and saying, oh, I lost it, or making up some stupid shit and then getting another box. And it was just brutal, man. And that just snowballs over time. Like I think it was over about 4 or 5 years, and then it snowballed to the point where I was like, I had this huge tolerance to opiates and shit like that. Hadn't told anyone about it and was just trying to hide it from everyone, and ended up overdosing and, you know, nearly dying. I think it was before a show, right before a Byron Bay show, and that was like, that was nearly all she wrote.
That's crazy, man.
Which is fucking, lucky.
Amen to that, bro. You mentioned that no one really knew, so you kept it to yourself this whole time. How pivotal was that moment after this show when you had to tell your family, had to start, I don't know if you had to reach out for help or if you had no choice but to go get help. How pivotal was that moment where you could actually express yourself, talk about what's been going on and finally start to break through?
It was like actually a blessing. Yeah. Like as much as it was fucked to like go through that, wake up in hospital on suicide watching shit because they think you try to kill yourself because I had so much shit. And then they hand a phone and saying, you know, it's your parents, you've got to tell them what's going on. That was just like, that was really hard, but it was a blessing because then it was all out, you know, all that shit that I'd been keeping to myself for so long had suddenly just surfaced and I was forced to explain it. So it was actually really, really good thing and a blessing, you know, because I wouldn't have said anything otherwise.
Would you say to anyone else kind of going, you can never tell anyone who's going through things what to do, but would you say to anyone who has maybe their own issues inside that the best thing is to try and get it out to someone?
Definitely. Even if you've got to tell them in a text message in the weirdest way possible because you feel weird about saying it or something, or even if it's to a therapist or a doctor or something, just tell them. It'll help because there's ways you can get through it. Like I could have kept touring if I had have gone to a doctor and sorted out my issues with like Suboxone or something like that. But I was just keeping it to myself, and that's how it ends when you do that.
Well, I like the outside of this story and seeing where you are now. To be completely honest, bro, it's fucking great to see you back, man.
Thanks,
it's great
man.
to see you back, man.
Thanks. It's been really, really tough journey, but it's been rewarding to see this part of it, you know, coming back. Like life was fucked up and just grey for ages, and now it's starting to get colourful again.
Facts. What I like the most is that you're not even keeping this story in. Like on that podcast, and I don't know the name of the podcast, I don't usually promote other podcasts, but I still think everyone at home should go listen to this podcast. You open up extremely on that, like specific situations. The fact that you're coming out, telling everyone about your story, I think is great for people who may be going through it, because you went through some intense moments, bro, intense moments. But to see that you actually overcome it in the end is the sunshine at the end of all these times, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you're seeing that too. It's good.
No, it's good, bro.
So what's your health regime looking like now to keep healthy? You mentioned this morning you had a beetroot juice. That's on the cards for 360.
Real quick, 360 pulled up, told us he got a beetroot juice from Harry's Cafe de Wheels, which is crazy in itself.
Diversifying the menu, Harry's, man.
100%.
Yeah, I don't really fuck with beetroot at all, so that was a new thing. It was kind of good though. I liked it. Yeah, so at the moment, like, I'm a grandpa, so I go to bed early as shit. I go to bed about 9:30 and get up early. Now that it's winter, I don't train that early anymore. Like in Melbourne, it's fucking freezing at the moment. So like when it was summer, I was getting up and just going straight to the gym. But I've started boxing and shit to do cardio like stuff, like to get my fitness really up for the tour that's coming up in June. I want to be able to like do an hour and a half without sweating. I know that's...
Without sweating? I'm starting to sweat sitting here talking for 20 minutes. Come on.
That's a long shot, but yeah. I heard someone say, I don't know if it's true, but someone said that Beyonce used to train by running on a treadmill and singing her songs at the same time.
Fact. Yeah,
I don't know if it's true. I don't know if
Shout out
it's true.
Beyonce if that's true, man.
Come on the pod.
Yeah.
Shooting for the stars.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, bro. Well, look, hopefully you get to that point. It's not far away. It's not far away.
Yeah, I'll get on the treadmill with heels on and shit.
100%. Oh, look, if you do, please send that video footage through for an exclusive on Take Flight. 360 running with heels on a treadmill is instant virality, bro. 100%.
Got to get them carbs up, somehow.
So 60, there's been a couple of controversies in your career. One of them I heard about was on Q&A. Now you talked about the Australian flag and that it was kind of being misappropriated by racist people and stuff and this and that. Especially in a time when, in the hip hop community and wider Australia, it was kind of a lot, I feel, less common to talk about that stuff, especially on a national platform. So were you kind of like, how did you handle the backlash from that? Because I heard that it wasn't only just comments, it was actual threats towards your safety and stuff like that.
It was full on, man. It was fucking intense. Like, I didn't even realize what I'd gotten myself into when I said that shit. It was like, fuck, that was crazy. Like, it was, there was threats. There was like just constant, really weird shit, like people posting dead bodies and shit on every post of mine, and just drawing weird kind of parallels to what I said and shit like that. It was very, very weird, bro. Like I was just like, let's steer clear for these cunts.
100%. When you went into saying this out in public, did you think about it beforehand, or was it just a spur of the moment thing?
Came out, yeah.
All right,
Because we were just talking, and just was an offhanded comment, and it was just like, I did not expect that. Did not expect that. It was fucking wild.
Yeah, man.
How long did it take to die down, or like was this?
Went for months, man. It was like it was full on. It was really, really intense. It was about 3 months. Yeah. Just wild. I wish I could remember specific shit they said too, because it was brutal.
Was this Facebook time where they're posting these images of dead bodies?
Yeah.
Like good points, bro. Look, at least TikTok wasn't around then, because let me tell you, bro, the TikTok is crazy. The commenters on TikTok, the people there, and they will say some crazy
Really?
stuff. Oh, bro.
Is TikTok where like the toxic shit's gone now?
Oh, man. I would stay clear as far away.
Right.
If you can live your life and make a career out of not having TikTok, I suggest it, because it is fucked, bro.
Oh, really?
Doesn't matter what it is. If you get, just say, if I post a video, the first 3 comments, if there's any negativity in that, they all come flooding in, bro. It's just non-stop. We talk about it all the time, how bad it is.
Wow.
But I don't know why. Everyone's faceless online as it is across a lot of platforms, but TikTok is just a dangerous place.
Yeah. Man, I've been avoiding socials quite hectically, like, since coming back.
Yeah. Are you still off them a lot?
I like check Instagram a bit, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't go on Facebook or anything like that. I might check we've got this app called Business Suite where you can like use Instagram and Facebook without having to use the actual apps.
Oh, yep.
So I check those because they like have the analytics and shit like that.
You can see what's going on.
But sometimes, man, I can see a comment that'll just a random comment, but it'll be something that'll just get me. And I'll be like, no, that stings. And I'll start thinking about it for the rest of the day. And it'll just fuck me up, just one comment. So it's just like, I might as well just avoid it completely.
100%, bro. And I feel like that's a lot of artists out there. Just a lot of artists can stand pushing it away, and some just can't. And this is where you see beef online kick off real hard.
I mean, I don't know how that's like. I don't really follow much of what's going on in the scene at the moment. But like for the rappers that are popping off, did they cop shit like artists used to when they blew up? Like, are they getting haters and shit?
I think without a doubt, without a doubt.
1-4 get a lot.
Do they?
100%, man.
Do they
so
really?
It like our like Take Flight's follower base is very mixed, because obviously it's a bit of everyone's fans.
Oh, it's a melting pot,
a bit of everyone's fans from what. So no matter what, it just depends if that person's opposition fan base is willing to go in and say something, right?
Right.
But there's always a point where there's a lot of hate, no matter who you are. And all it takes is, like you said, one word in a statement, one wrong word in a song, one wrong thing in a video clip. People just fucking rush them, bro. Rush them.
Really amplifies that kind of herd mentality. Like even you were talking about that Q&A was like what? Almost 10 years ago, and I feel like social media's advanced so much since then, so the herd mentality is like that much worse. You know what I mean? There's that one thing, like artists just got to look at it like this. Like I got real good at seeing it for how it is when I was like during the falling and flying era. I remember being kind of thick-skinned and just being like, if people are going out of their way to try and bring you down, it's more of a reflection of the shit that they've got going on. You know, like they're not killing it in their life if they're coming and hating on someone else for killing it in theirs.
Facts. We spoke about this before. Like, I can't imagine being that person behind a screen going, yeah, fuck, this is so shit, go kill yourself. Like, why is it affecting you that hard? Like, I don't know what goes through those people's heads more than anything.
I think when you start seeing it like that as well, then you start seeing their comments and go, fuck, that's his issue, not mine.
Facts, bro.
I mean, when you were getting, charting and doing sold out tours and stuff, there would have been tons of rappers being like, why the fuck's he selling out tours? I should be selling out tours. Exactly what you're saying is more a reflection of their position than yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, 100%.
So another kind of controversial thing that we have to talk about, of course, is your battle with Cursor. I mean, it comes up every time.
Man, it comes up all the fucking
all
time.
The time.
Bro.
Well, that's the question. I mean, we're fucking 10, 11 years down now. Obviously, it was a very impactful, very kind of influential battle on the scene at the time and in the years following. Did you ever think that 11 years later, people would still be asking you about it on such a frequent basis?
Nah, I did not. I did not think that was going to be like Australia's Tupac and Biggie kind of thing. Like people ride or die for one. Choose your person and ride for them. It was really. It was wild, and the fact it still gets brought up, and the fact that people are still in their feelings about it too.
Oh,
It's very funny. Like people are still just like, nah, Curse got it or Six got it, or but very staunch in their beliefs about it. It's like I think we kind of all won with that.
Bro, the scene in general won, if that's what you mean, 150%.
Yeah.
The hype on everyone down under was crazy at that point.
Yeah, and we both like from that. Like if you go look at his career. And then what I did after that as well, we both just went and smashed it.
Oh, 100%. The chart's going like this.
Yeah.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
So that's the point, bro. I can't believe that people are still completely choosing sides this long later. Like, it's not even as such as who won. It's, Curse is my guy. 360 is my guy. And I'm not talking about artists and that. I'm talking about fans. Like, fans are still like, I ride with Cursor, fuck 360. I ride with 360, fuck Cursor. 10 years later, bro.
And the thing is, like, we're cool, me and him are sweet. There's no bad blood now. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can still
like
listen to both.
Or appreciate both, at least. At least appreciate the music or whatever's being done out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to what you said, it's like, that's why labels try and manufacture beef sometimes. Because it's like, you killed it, 360 killed it. And it's like, fuck, no wonder. It's like, hey, you just diss this guy tomorrow on Insta, and then we'll get him to reply, and then like both our careers will probably pop off or something.
What was it like? I remember that photo of you two when it was first posted. Was that a big day out at a festival?
Yeah, I think it was.
What was the reaction, or do you remember the reaction when you put that out? Because was that one of the first times people saw you guys together, like happy in a photo?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Man, that got, I think, the most likes on a picture I've ever had.
I can imagine.
It was like, it got, I think, nearly either think it was $500,000 or $1 million, something like that. It was like, what the fuck?
Wait, $500,000 likes?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was a big photo.
It just kept going for years. Like, it was really bizarre. Really bizarre, but fucking cool.
100%. Recently, we had Rops1 on. We spoke about the battle, obviously. We saw a little reply from yourself. I can't remember. It was just wait or something like that, along the lines of. Any chance of, maybe you battling Rops in the future if that got brought to the table, bro?
No, there was nothing. I know there was nothing personal.
Of course.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
As far as battling though, like I hope I get to a point where I'm ready to do it again.
Yeah.
Like I want to. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I've got like a bit of a vision with what I want to do with music, and that's the main goal for me at the moment, is just getting the music like just to be consistently fire for a few years. Once I've done what I really want to be doing there, then I'll be open to battling.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. You've also previously said that you would battle Cursor again, or have the thoughts of again. Look, you're back. You're releasing on a consistent basis. Cursor's got his 10th album.
And he's about to stop too.
Bro, there's no better time than now. What are your thoughts, man? I know you're not ready this second. What about next 6 months? What are we feeling, bro? There's no better time than
it's crazy because like there's been times in the past where we've been like, oh, maybe we should do it in round 2, And he's...
Have you had this discussion?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's been like, I think there's been moments where he was ready and I wasn't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. We'll see how we go.
Totally
if it
fair,
makes
man.
sense, maybe.
100%. The battle also brought on the whole lads versus Metro conversation.
Yeah.
That was like probably one of the biggest things that come out of it.
Yeah.
How do you think the scene of today perceives you? Have you ever thought about how the scene today perceives you in that basis?
Man, to be honest, I don't think the scene really gives a fuck about me that much at the moment, to be honest.
Right.
I feel like I've still got a lot of music to release first before a lot of people will start fucking with me again. Like at the moment, it feels like my core fan base and winning over some people with the new shit I've been dropping. But I feel like there's still got to be about half a year left until the scene really comes around
Comes
again.
back in.
Yeah.
Is there any part of you that cares that that's how it is now? No care?
No.
Love it,
No.
bro.
I'm very, very happy with where I'm at personally, and I'm loving the shit I'm doing musically at the moment. So I don't really care if people don't like it.
Beautiful, man. 100%.
Another great thing you did for the rap community in this country was obviously the Rap Attack series from way back. Rap Attack 2 came back in 2021. Is there another chance of another run of that? And if so, what would you like to see from that didn't come out in the first 2?
So definitely want to do it again, 100%. One thing, I just wish people would let go of the fucking politics, man. Like because it's me, and I know that I'm a polarizing figure in the scene and shit like that. There was a lot of people that just didn't want to get involved because it was like, nah, that's 360. Like I'm a cursed dude, or just whatever it is. There's whatever reason there is. It's like people are missing out on opportunities to like reach a whole bunch more people and fans, and I just reckon they need to let go of that shit. Like I'm even down to change the name and shit. If it's the name because it's Rap Attack and it's associated with me, I'm down to like step away and not be my thing, because I want it to like. I want everyone to get involved. I don't just want people that are cool with me to get involved,
Yeah.
I want everyone in the scene getting involved in that shit.
Oh, look, I've just had an idea, honestly, off the top of my head. What if the first Rapper Tag back, if you rename it, is you and Cursor going back to back? And then you got both sides. Then anyone could be involved.
Wow. I'll be down.
Anyway.
I'm open to that.
Take flight with the ideas, guys.
Yeah, free ideas.
We
bro,
are here,
over
we are here.
Any consultation needs, hit this guy up. Hit me up as well. I need that check. But definitely to your point, it is a great opportunity, because I know from personal experience, Nerve was very thankful that that he was the first one that you tagged back in Rap Attack 2. And I remember we weren't even going to put it on Spotify. It was kind of like, yeah, we're going to do a YouTube thing, and then I think I was talking to your manager, and then he was like, "Oh, just chuck it on Spotify if you want." And then next minute, it's his most streamed track. And
Really?
like harder than his singles that we've been pushing to radio and doing all these
shit.
campaigns behind. And then it's like Rap Attack number 2 is his highest streaming track, and we were like, "Fuck,
Oh, fuck. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the impact
huge.
it can have if you come
100%.
ready to go as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I wish other artists saw that.
Yeah, and I think we're at a point too where it's like every day, like me, Wings, everyone, we're getting asked, where's the radio sets? Where's the ciphers? Where's the freestyles? We're doing Sky sessions after this. Like, I think people just want to hear like I feel like we reached a stage in the scene where so many videos were really overproduced and everything was a bit too slick.
Yeah.
And then now people are like, we just want the iPhone fucking in an alleyway or the webcam just rapping. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm loving that shit at the moment. I'm very much loving doing that shit and watching that. Do you guys like Millie's, the American rapper?
Yeah, bro, he's creating a whole lot of hype, man.
Yeah, like the way he's doing it, that's exactly the way I've been trying to approach it. You know, like I love that he's doing the live radio drops and shit like that, and the way he's promoting it is a good way for people. If any up and comers that don't know how to do it, check Millie's. He's a good way to promote.
Hectic.
Education on the pod. So we talked about before you went quiet for a couple of years, but since December, man, you've been dropping track after track after track, video after video after video. It's been a great rollout to watch. So what was the moment for you that you knew that you needed to come back just so strong and so consistent?
I think it was when I got out of rehab, like at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, I remember finishing like the last month when I was in there, just being like, oh, I've got to come out and absolutely smash it. But I thought it was going to be as soon as I got out, I thought I'm just going to hit the ground rolling. But I didn't realize how fucked up I was going to be when I actually got home. And it took about 2 years to get over that little slump of being really fucked. Like 2 years. And then after 2 years, I was just like, the stuff that I'd been writing that whole time and just churning out so much stuff, and it was just like, all right, it's starting to make sense. Like it's getting to the point now. I'm happy to release all this shit and feel confident in it.
Also around this time, you said on Instagram, I have to read it because I'm not going to remember, I've had to slay the people pleaser inside of me. Right? Can you elaborate a little bit on what you meant by that? Because to be honest, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that statement right there.
Yeah, I've had a big issue with being a people pleaser, and you know, I've always been very honest within music, and I've always kept it quite real in music and shit like that. But in real life, I always struggled with like having those uncomfortable conversations with people that you need to have and shit like that. And just like laying boundaries can be anything at all. Anything to do with confrontation, I just used to just dance around it or skip over it completely. So I've been having to slay that. But also like when I started popping off with Falling and Flying, like it was so new to me to be in this position where it's like being famous and in the charts and all this fucking crazy shit going on. There was a lot of people that come into your life that think they know what's best for you. And like for me, I've always been steering my own ship. I've always had like creative control over everything we drop, but I have definitely let outside influence me too much, to the point where like people were steering me in directions that I was unsure I really wanted to go. And then after so many years in the industry, I was like, I remember like while I was in rehab, like reflecting over everything, going like, fucking, have I been making music that I want to make, or is it shit that I think people want me to make, or like what am I lost myself completely just being around that kind of in the industry and shit like that. I really lost myself and my sense of direction and shit. And since the last 3 years has just been like, I'm taking everything back. I'm only following my gut now. I'm not listening to what anyone else like says, oh no, this song sounds like it'll be better on a radio, so go with this song for your single or whatever. I'm just following my gut with everything and feeling my way through it now.
Beautiful, man. Were there any specific songs over the years that you put out that you look back now and like, nah, that's not me. That's not what I want to put out?
Definitely. Yeah. There's like I Can't Stand just got started.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a song we made when like we heard it, we're like, this sounds like it could have radio potential. Let's fucking try and gear it towards radio. And it's like when you make songs like that, it doesn't sit right later. Like I remember anytime we'd go to perform it, I would just crease up inside because it would just be like, this doesn't feel right for me, you know? So that kind of stuff, yeah, definitely. But luckily over the years, I've figured out never to do that again.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important message to hear, because I feel like nowadays the trends are so fast, you know what I mean? Like trends and sounds and TikTok and everything, it's like, it feels like what's hot 1 minute is not hot the next. So if you do kind of do that and you base your whole kind of career or your whole sound on one trend and then that kind of dies in the next 3 months, it's like, well, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so I think that's really important for people to hear.
Yeah, and radio's not that important anymore, which is really good. Like back then, radio was like they'd make or break you. Really, it's like if it was all done about, all right, you get 3 singles, you do a video for each one, and then pitch it to radio, hope that they play it, and if they don't, tough luck. You know, now it's like they don't really matter that much. You know, TikTok's where it's at.
That's the hard
then
thing.
Number one.
Yeah, TikTok is become the new modern day radio in that sense, because now labels seem to be pushing artists towards making songs that might trend on TikTok, whether it be a certain sound or a certain part of a sound. They're like, oh, people could do a dance to that. People could do a trend to that. So there's still something similar out there. It's just not about the radio anymore.
That's it. They had a monopoly on it. I feel like definitely Triple J did for a while. It was like they were basically, you know, the gatekeepers of what was going to pop off in Australian hip hop for so long. And I'm glad that that's changed.
Amen to that, bro. Amen. I'm glad that, because some of the music you hear now, you'll definitely not be as big or spread as far without it.
100%. Yeah.
Some of your new music, bro. One of my favorite songs, 100% my favorite song that you've released as of late is The Truman Show. Oh, wait, is it called Truman Show?
Yeah.
Because now I've convinced myself about the show. Obviously based around the movie, The Truman Show.
Yeah.
Right? At what point did you think you wanted to base a song around that? You know, we know the idea of it, but for those at home who might not.
It was like just getting out of rehab during the pandemic when we were in like stage 4 lockdowns in Melbourne was just weird. Like everything, because I went away and everything was normal, and then I got out and everything was fucked.
Oh, was it that part of COVID where everything shut down?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, and I didn't know what to make of anything. You know what I mean? Like there was like all this shit about the fucking vaccines and mandates and all this fucking shit. And I'm dumb. Like I'm uneducated. I don't know shit. So I don't know what to make of any of it. I didn't know what to make of any of it. And it was like very confusing time. Like I didn't like the fucking way people behave with that shit too, you know, like shaming everyone for their decisions that they made or didn't made. It was brutal. There's things I want to say, but I don't want to.
All good.
Like I had issues with the vaccine myself.
Getting the vaccine?
Yeah, like I got the vaccine and it messed me up more than COVID did. And that sort of just sent me down a little bit of a dark path, like looking at things and thinking, this doesn't seem right. I don't know about this shit. And it just, got really dark during that period. So that was a song, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was in the Truman Show, but like I was questioning my sanity like he was in the movie.
Yeah,
you know
for sure, bro. Mentioning the COVID vaccine, not that I'm trying to go all political and talk about this, but it's good to hear, you know, people of influence talk about issues they did have. Not that we have to go into detail, but because I'm on Twitter here and there. I fucking hate Twitter, but every time I log in, there's stories of people coming up that are going intensely viral about the bad effects that the vaccine had on them.
Look, I don't want it to turn into some like where some media is going to grab the headlines that we said this and turn it into some political thing.
No, not at all, bro.
Like do whatever you want. You know, this is no advice or anything like that, but we should be able to talk about the effects that it's had on us, especially things like lockdowns and stuff. Like I remember anytime I've talked about lockdowns and shit like that, I've had the fucking algorithms just step in and just like cut the reach completely. It's like, that's no good. We need to be able to talk about this shit. Like I was in the fucking, went to hospital with chest pains with that vaccine, you know, and they told me it was anxiety and in my head.
I've heard that a lot, actually.
Same, man.
Yeah,
I've heard that from so many people, especially in the industry, and a lot of people that haven't wanted to say anything because they're scared they're going to be called anti-vaxxers and shit. It's like, bro, we got the vaccine. How can we be called anti-vaxxers?
100%.
We need to be, but we do need to be able to talk about it. And I get that it's sensitive, but just fucking calm down.
Facts.
It's all good.
Facts, bro.
Another comment that you made on Instagram about your new music was that you're making music without being tied to the outcome. So as someone who's, you know, like I mentioned before, done it all, you've won awards, chart placements, etc. Do you think that focusing on that stuff too much just tarnishes the creative process when you're making it?
Man, it's been so much better doing it this way. Like, it's like very pure, you know, just making art that is just, there's no agenda in mind except just be happy and fucking try and kill it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
There's no like try and make a song that's going to go platinum and stuff. It's just going wherever the creativity takes me, and like whatever I feel, like that's what I'm going for. It's it's really good. I definitely, if people are like struggling, not knowing what to do with the album, just start dropping singles and shit, just one at a time, and just scrap the idea of an album. It takes the pressure off. Like it's been so much fun.
Is that your goal right now? Just continue with the singles? Because I'm pretty sure you dropped like 4 music videos in like 4 or 5 weeks, which is unheard of at the moment. And they're not like shitty music videos either. Man, they're good. Is that your goal? Just keep on going?
Yeah. Like I've been writing so many like verses that I've just been discarding. And I was like, we need to use these. Like we need to use every single one I do. So what I'm doing now is like, I'm trying to drop a single a month as it like an official single, and around that drop all these freestyles as well. So we've already got a whole fuckload of them that we've got to do videos for. So I just want to keep it consistent and see how long I can keep this going for.
Yeah.
Like hopefully keep it going for 2 or 3 years and shit, and then just see what happens. Like it'll be fun.
Yeah, hectic, man. Just while we're on your visuals, I know my mate Jake, Blacklisted Visuals, has been doing it. Shout out to Blacklisted Visuals. He's a fucking beast. I just need to get a shout out to him while I could, because he's the man, bro. Every time I come down to Melbourne, he's just a beast at everything he does. Yeah. Absolute beast.
He's a fucking legend too, man. Like, yeah, it's a real small world too, because he lost his like hard drive, was it? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, he's lost his hard drive back in the day. Yeah. I didn't even know him. He was just some guy on Facebook, and I'd shared it or something. Okay. And I remember him. He showed me that. It was like, dude, you did this for me back in the day. I fucking will never forget it and shit. I was like, well, that's really cool. And now we're working together all the time.
Legit, yeah. Hell yeah, man. Shout out, Blacklisted Visuals, my guy.
I thought you were going to say you found his hard drive in your fucking kitchen cupboard or something.
That's what I was like, where are you going with that one, man? Oh, man.
So Wing said before that his favourite of your new drops is The Truman Show. My personal favourite is Certified. On there, you did have a very impactful bar to me that said you're going to make your earlier career look like a footnote. Huge bar. So what do you think you're armed with this time around that's going to take you to that next level?
I think the experience that I've had of being in the music industry for so long now has, I've learnt how to operate when it comes to music. Like not having outside influence now and just doing it myself is just the way to go. Like a lot of one of my goals over the last 3 years has been stepping the rapping game up a lot. Like I really want people to people who know my background know where I come from and know I can rap and shit like that. But there's a lot of people that just see me as that pop rapper. And I'm very, very keen to show that that's not what I am, and show that I have a background and I does this. You know?
Yeah, the hunger is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So off the back of the singles, of course, you have your tour coming up in June, the Back to Life tour. The name obviously signals like, a live comeback for you. What can we expect at those shows? The classics plus all the new shit, and just it's going to be super hype. Like production wise, it's going to be fucking wild. Special guests, everything.
And he's not going to sweat once on stage.
Yeah,
not a single piece of sweat, bro.
Won't
not
need
a single
towel.
Not a drop. All right, bro. Before we leave, is there anything else you want to say? Anything you want to say to your fans that might be tuning in, or new fans who will hopefully gain from this interview?
Just shout outs to everyone for the support. The support has been absolutely mind blowing. Like. I can't believe how I wasn't ready for it. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I thought there was going to be a lot more hate, but it's just been nothing but love so far, and I hopefully can keep delivering that.
Beautiful. Again, man, thank you so much. It's great to meet you in person.
Likewise.
It's great to see you killing it out here. So consistent. Keep it coming.
Thank you.
We got a little something going on right now, Sky Sessions. So it's your boy Wings, 24 Karat Kev, 360. We out.